Hello and welcome back to Timeless Wisdom. Have you ever found yourself wondering who you could call when you need a listening ear? Maybe there's no one left to share those simple, meaningful moments, like a morning coffee chat or a quiet check-in, just because someone cares. Sometimes the deepest loneliness isn't from the quiet rooms in our homes, but from a stillness that settles in our hearts as we get older. Today's video opens up a topic that's rarely discussed out loud: the silent impact of lost friendships on older women. How does it shape happiness, identity, and health? You'll get to know Linda, who at 71 made a big move, hoping for a peaceful retirement, only to find herself sitting at her kitchen table, phone in hand, waiting for calls that never seemed to come. Linda's situation is all too common, but her journey takes a turn that might surprise you. We'll be digging into why so many friendships fade away after the age of 60, why the emotional needs of older women are so often ignored by society, and what modern research is uncovering about loneliness in our later years. But there's more to the story, because all around the world, women are finding new ways to reconnect, rediscover joy, and fill their lives with purpose in ways they never imagined possible. If you've ever questioned whether it's too late to truly feel seen, or wondered if anyone else feels the same kind of emptiness, I hope this video brings you comfort and a new perspective. Stay with me until the end, because the most powerful message is the reminder that you are never alone, no matter where you are on your journey. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you experienced this kind of loneliness, or perhaps found a new friendship in an unexpected place? Your story could mean the world to someone else. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe so you won't miss more heartfelt stories, practical tips, and uplifting messages here at Timeless Wisdom, created especially for you. 1. The hidden loss no one warns you about. We often prepare older adults for the physical changes that come with aging, the slower steps, the greying hair, the medical appointments. But almost no one prepares them for the emotional shift that happens when the friendships they once counted on begin to quietly disappear. It doesn't happen overnight. It happens when children move away, when neighbours relocate, when beloved spouses pass, and when retirement ends the rhythm of daily social interactions. Slowly, the phone rings less, invitations fade, and what used to be a vibrant circle of connection becomes a shrinking island of silence. It's in that silence that loneliness creeps in. Not always loud, not always dramatic, but heavy. And for many older women, this loss of friendship becomes one of the most painful and least talked about parts of growing older. Think back to Linda's story. She had it all figured out. A peaceful retirement, a lovely new home, and the freedom to finally rest. But what she didn't expect was the emotional emptiness that came with it. No matter how beautiful the house was, it couldn't replace the warmth of laughter across a dinner table or the comfort of a friend who truly understands. And that's the quiet tragedy many older women face. Not the absence of things, but the absence of people. Society rarely acknowledges this. In fact, there's a cultural script that says older women should be satisfied with what they have: family visits, hobbies, maybe a volunteer shift at church. While those things are valuable, they're not a substitute for deep, meaningful friendships, the kind that make you feel seen, heard, and alive. There's also a harmful myth that older people no longer want or need close friendships, as if connection has an expiration date. But research proves otherwise. Studies show that strong social ties in later life are linked to lower blood pressure, reduced risk of depression, better memory, and even longer lifespan. And emotionally, the impact is even deeper. Friendships remind us that we are still worthy of love, laughter, and loyalty. What's more, the loss of friendships can make everything else feel heavier. When you're dealing with health challenges, grief, or just the small stresses of everyday life, having no one to turn to can make those burdens feel unbearable. A friend isn't just someone to have fun with. They're a lifeline during tough times. They bring perspective, comfort, and sometimes even a reason to get up in the morning. Without that emotional support, many older women begin to internalize their loneliness, believing it's a personal failure or just part of getting old. But it's not. It's a cultural oversight, and one we can change. This video exists to challenge that silence, to say out loud what many have only whispered to themselves. I miss having someone to talk to. If that's you, you're not broken, you're not weak, and you're certainly not alone. And the good news, it's never too late to reconnect, to rebuild, or to rediscover the beauty of human connection. In the next section, we'll explore why friendships fade after 60 and what you can do starting today to bring them back into your life. Because your story isn't over. It's just entering a new chapter, and it might be more beautiful than you ever imagined. 2. When loneliness becomes a silent health risk, following the emotional weight of lost friendships that we uncovered in the previous section, it's time to confront something even more pressing. What happens to the body and mind when that emotional void is left unaddressed? Because the truth is, loneliness isn't just sad, it's dangerous. Many older adults, especially women, don't realize that prolonged isolation is now being recognized by experts as a public health threat, one with effects as serious as smoking, obesity, and even chronic illness. But unlike physical health issues, loneliness doesn't show up in blood tests. It shows up in restless nights, rising anxiety, plummeting motivation, and a deepening sense that you're slowly fading into the background of your own life. Let's go back to Linda. After just 6 months in her new home, she began waking up later, moving slower, and forgetting small things like where she left her keys or whether she'd taken her vitamins. Her doctor said she was physically fine, but emotionally she was unraveling. Without regular social connection, her cognitive sharpness was dulling, her sense of self-worth was slipping, and her zest for life gone. That's not just anecdotal, it's biological. Studies by institutions like the National Institute on Aging have shown that loneliness increases inflammation, weakens the immune system, and speeds up cognitive decline. In fact, socially isolated seniors are more likely to develop dementia, depression, and even heart disease, all because the human body is wired for connection. Without it, systems begin to shut down, not immediately, but slowly and silently. What's tragic is that so many older women blame themselves for these changes. They think, I'm just getting old, when in reality, they're responding to a deep, unmet emotional need. And it's not about needing dozens of friends or being socially popular. It's about having someone, just one person, you feel safe with, someone to share stories, laughter, frustrations, or simply sit in silence with and still feel understood. Emotional connection doesn't just add richness to life, it adds resilience to the body. Yet we live in a culture that often tells older adults to just stay busy or focus on family, but that ignores a crucial truth. Activity isn't the same as connection. You can volunteer, attend church, or go on walks every day and still feel lonely, because loneliness isn't cured by movement alone. It's cured by meaningful exchange, real conversations, mutual care, a moment where someone looks at you and truly sees you. That's what heals, and that's what so many older women are missing. Not because they've done something wrong, but because no one taught them how to rebuild connection later in life. The good news is, awareness is the first step to change. Once you recognize that loneliness isn't your fault, but it is your responsibility to confront, you open the door to real healing. In the next section, we'll explore the common transitions that quietly dismantle our social lives after 60 and the small but powerful steps you can take to rebuild a circle of connection. Because your health, your happiness, and your hope all start with one thing: being seen and letting yourself be seen again. 3. Why friendships fade after 60 and what you can do about it. In the last section, we uncovered how loneliness, left unspoken and untreated, can quietly erode both our health and our spirit. But where does this all begin? Why do so many older women who were once socially active, surrounded by friends and meaningful conversation, suddenly find themselves alone? The answer isn't just aging, it's transition. And understanding these transitions is the key to taking back your life. Life after 60 is filled with changes that most people underestimate. Retirement sounds like freedom, but for many women it also means the loss of daily structure and workplace friendships that once came naturally. Children grow up and move across the country, and the once noisy home becomes a place of echoing silence. Sometimes a spouse passes away, or even if they're still alive, the emotional connection may have faded, leaving a woman feeling unseen in her own home. Other times, the move to a new city or senior living community is meant to offer peace and safety, but ends up disrupting long-held friendships and routines. These are not just life events, they're social earthquakes. What's worse is that these transitions often happen gradually, almost invisibly. You don't notice the loneliness right away. It creeps in. One day, you realize you haven't had a real heart-to-heart conversation in weeks. You scroll through your phone contacts and wonder who you could even call. And then comes the most dangerous thought of all. Maybe it's just too late, but here's the truth. It's not too late. It's never too late to start building again. What most people don't realize is that the skill of making friends in adulthood, especially later in life, is different, but not impossible. It takes intention, it takes courage, and it takes patience. In school and work, friendships are handed to us through proximity, but in retirement, connection becomes a choice. You have to create the space for it, seek out new communities, and most importantly, allow yourself to be open again. Open to awkward beginnings, open to vulnerability, and open to joy. And yes, it can feel scary. No one likes to feel like the new person again, but every thriving community of older adults you've ever seen, the book clubs, the walking groups, the lively church potluck, started with one woman who said, "I'm going to show up anyway." And that choice is available to you right now. Start small. Say yes to one local event this week. Visit your community centre. Join a virtual group if mobility is a challenge. Reconnect with an old friend with a simple text. "I was thinking about you. How are you?" These steps may feel tiny, but their impact is massive. Not just emotionally, but physically, mentally, and spiritually. In the next section, we'll uncover a powerful truth that might change the way you see yourself and your ability to connect with others. The myth that older adults can't form new bonds is just that, a myth. And once you understand how connection really works after 60, you'll see that your best friendships might still be ahead of you. 4. The truth about starting over. You're not too old for new connection. As we uncovered in the previous section, friendship after 60 isn't handed to you. It's something you have to actively build. And yet, even when women take the brave first steps, attending that event, reaching out to an old friend, joining a community group, there's often a lingering voice that whispers, "What's the point? I'm too old to make new friends." That voice, sadly, is not your truth. It's society's lie. And today, we're going to dismantle it. One of the most harmful assumptions out there is that older adults lose their capacity or desire for new relationships. Nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, many older women report feeling more open, more emotionally available, and more in tune with what really matters in their relationships than ever before. Why? Because they've lived, they've lost, and they've learned that real connection isn't about impressing others. It's about being seen as you are and accepted anyway. The women who defy loneliness and rebuild their social lives don't do it by pretending to be younger or chasing the past. They do it by embracing the unique gifts of their age: wisdom, authenticity, depth, and perspective. These are not barriers to friendship, they are superpowers. While younger people may bond over shared trends or peer pressure, older adults connect over real stories, meaningful conversations, and a desire for companionship that goes beyond the superficial. Let's revisit Linda one last time. After months of emotional isolation, she took a chance and joined a memoir writing workshop at her local library. She almost backed out twice, but she went. And in that room, she found 6 other women, all in their late 60s to early 80s, who had stories to tell, wounds to share, and laughter to offer. That weekly gathering became the highlight of her life, not because it fixed everything, but because it reconnected herself and reminded her that it's never too late to belong. What Linda discovered, and what you can too, is that the key to forming new friendships isn't about having perfect words or polished appearances. It's about showing up, staying open, and letting people in, even if slowly. You don't need dozens of people. One good friend can change your entire life. One shared cup of coffee, one honest conversation, one new name in your phone you know you can call. And if you're worried you've missed your chance, let me remind you, some of the strongest friendships in the world are forged not in youth, but in fire, in loss, in reinvention. That's what later life gives you, a chance to start again, this time on your own terms. In the final section of this video, we'll show you how women just like you have found joy, not in spite of aging, but because of the freedom it brings. The freedom to choose your people, the freedom to let go of past versions of yourself, and the freedom to say, this chapter is mine to write. So keep watching, because what comes next may be the permission you didn't know you were waiting for. 5. Happiness without friends. Yes, it's possible, but here's the deeper truth. Building new friendships after 60, as we explored in the last section, is absolutely possible, and for many women, deeply rewarding. But there's another truth that deserves space here. Not everyone will find or want those friendships, and that's okay. Because happiness, especially in later life, doesn't follow a one-size-fits-all formula. Some older women may not have the opportunity or energy to reconnect socially. Others might find that their deepest peace comes not from groups or gatherings, but from solitude, creativity, or spiritual fulfillment. The question then becomes, can you still live a joyful, meaningful life without close friends? The answer is a quiet, powerful yes. You see, while human connection is essential, self-connection is equally vital. Many women in their 60s, 70s, or beyond discover that for the first time, they finally have the space to turn inward, to rediscover parts of themselves that were set aside during decades of raising children, working hard, or putting others first. In that solitude, they write poetry, they tend to their gardens, they take long walks, and finally listen to the rhythm of their own hearts. They heal. They learn to enjoy their own company. Not because they've given up on connection, but because they've learned how to feel whole on their own. But let's be clear, this kind of happiness doesn't mean total isolation. It means choosing presence over pressure, peace over performance. It means creating a life that feels rich and personal, even if it's quiet. For some, that might look like finding joy in a daily routine, a spiritual practice, a favourite book. For others, it might come from caring for a pet, mentoring a younger woman, or simply waking up each morning with a calm heart. These forms of fulfillment are just as valid as having a close-knit group of friends. They're not less than, they're just different. However, even for those who choose a more solitary path, staying open to small moments of connection can be transformative. A kind conversation with a neighbour, a smile exchanged at the grocery store, a handwritten card sent to someone you haven't spoken to in years. These gestures may seem small, but they can anchor you in the shared human experience and remind you that even with our deep friendships, you are never truly alone in the world. The most important thing is to define happiness for yourself. Don't let society's expectations or anyone else's version of joy dictate what your life should look like. If you thrive in community, build it. If you flourish in solitude, honor it. If you want both, create your own rhythm between the two. This stage of life is not about pleasing others. It's about finally becoming fully yourself. No matter if you're out there meeting new friends or just beginning to appreciate your own company, always remember, your happiness is still in your hands. There's no age limit on joy, no expiration date on finding peace within yourself. You haven't missed your chance. In fact, you're already living it. If anything in this message spoke to your heart, why not take just one small step today toward your own version of happiness? And if this video made you reflect on your journey, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share what brings you joy these days, or tell us about a part of your life you're reclaiming. Your words might just be what inspires someone else to begin again. Growing older isn't the end of connection. It's the start of a deeper, richer relationship with yourself and the world around you. Whether your days are filled with the laughter of friends or you're quietly navigating this season on your own, please remember, happiness isn't behind you, it's still ahead. You've made it through so much change, so much loss, and so much reinvention. And you're still here, still able to experience joy, growth, and meaningful connection. This video isn't just about loneliness. It's about embracing your worth, claiming your space, and realizing that it's never too late to feel truly alive. Maybe for you, that looks like joining a new group, reaching out to someone from your past, or simply allowing yourself to enjoy your own company without guilt. The choice is yours. So pause for a moment and ask yourself, what would help you feel more connected, more fulfilled, more like yourself? Let that answer guide you. Let it be your compass. And if this video resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Leave a comment and share your story. What's helped you feel seen, connected, or inspired at this stage of life? Your voice could be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and explore our playlist on Happiness After 60 for even more encouragement, stories, and helpful tools created just for you. Here on Timeless Wisdom, you're never invisible. You are truly invaluable. And remember, the most beautiful chapter of your life may be the one you're about to write. Let's create it together, right here, with Timeless Wisdom.